Good afternoon. This is day 138 of making little videos describe a day in the thought of a schizophrenic. They are thoughts on the day of a schizophrenic, and I am an experiencer of schizophrenia for 15 years to be sure. I believe for my whole life, and I do not believe I am diseased or crazy, but that I am subject to what's called a cognitive war, something NATO has termed recently in recent times, and I believe this cognitive war could have had a platform to enact it for quite some time. On day 17 of these videos, I describe why I call myself schizophrenic rather than targeted individual. And on day 45, I express why I make these videos in a 3-minute intro, and there's the rest of the video. I've written a book on medium.com titled Unveiling the Schizophrenic Tradition. I hope to publish it when I return from a hiking trip that I'm taking in next month or so, and can't tell you when that would be published, or it has to be edited, but you can read it for free in chapter form in the draft that it's in now. And I make these videos to sort of humanize myself amidst the stigma of the mental illness, as well as the defamation of my character and name, and that goes out to the various people in the Truman show that I'm on or whatever. And it's going to start off talking about Trump is going to cut Social Security for disabled people and older people with Social Security supplemental income. I heard it's going to cut like 400,000 people. It was on their own website and stuff. And I had shared it on the thing, and I was thinking to myself, the guy's kind of a tool. And I guess that's, he had lied and said he wasn't going to touch Social Security, but he's lied about it. And so it's probably going to cut me like a few $100s, but I had planned, it's abusive to other people as well. And, I guess I'll get into this in a minute, but I was going to get into how, like, working with schizophrenia is very degrading to think about it, and I'll tell you my thought on that in a minute. But I was going to start off talking about how I had expressed some amount of, and on written form on my online social media pages or whatever, and then in the videos that I'm doing here, technologies that have come out into the public domain recently that are people are becoming aware of, or it's being publicly acknowledged that people are aware of it, and it has to do with mind reading technology by AI decoding your brain waves and translating your thoughts into speech in real time, as well as technology to produce voices in sounds in people's heads through a singular transmission where it can pinpoint a person. Nobody else around them hears it, but just the person. It's a directed message to the person in their head or whatever. That technology's been around for quite some time, and I have written about it in my book. These technologies are promoted like, here's the technology, here's the technology, here's this one technology, here's this other. And these technologies, when you consider the field of converging technologies, or the umbrella of such a thing as converging technologies, what's called converging technologies, when you converge these technologies, they explain an experience. They explain a possible technological weaponized manipulation of a person or experience that schizophrenics explain. Like schizophrenics, in my experience, I'll just tell you, I have experienced voices in my head that comments on my own thoughts in real time, immediately upon thinking them. There's like a voice. Sometimes they're abusive, particularly when I was receiving it 24 hours a day, uh, perpetually for years at a time. Like I say in a previous post, I now get those voices for like months at a time and intermittently throughout the day, or like when I'm going to sleep or something like that. Anyways, the point I'm making is that experience as a schizophrenic of hearing somebody comment on your thoughts in your head and belittle or degrade you or insult you or stroke your ego or just drive you nuts or whatever, that is explainable through this converging technologies, which is what I put out the other day. And so I just wanted to say that. So that's just one example of an experience that I have as a schizophrenic where I'm telling you, and someone said, like, people say stuff like, what? How do you know the voices coming in your head are not you? And I was just thinking to myself, how do you know that somebody putting a hand on your hand and touching your hand or whatever is not you doing it? It's like it's a natural knowing of what is you and what is not you. It's a discernment capability that you have. Now, there's other experiences of schizophrenia which can have to be explained, I guess, to people, and uh, you know, for instance, you not knowing who to trust or what to trust, or a general paranoia. Uh, like I've explained in previous things that I experienced the weather being manipulated upon activity in thoughts or speech or eating or exercise, or they coordinate that they're going to do something with a weather war or something, and they coordinate it upon my activity on a daily basis or whatever. And then not knowing who vehicle assaults. I've experienced a floating box that goes in the vehicle assaults and attacks on the highway and stalking of that nature. Uh, government agencies stalking and harassing you and monitoring each other's activity around you. And this could be world governments, this could be domestic governments, this could be private corporations like an Elon. I've experienced a lot of Teslas around me for quite some time, just like doing little manipulative things and stuff like that. That's in more recent years. And so like you have like these competing forces kind of surrounding you and stuff. And it's all part of like a bigger umbrella, I think. There's the whole idea of like human trafficking directives. I've experienced like the human trafficking directives where they're directing you to go do this such and such with such a person or something like that. And so I've experienced that previously, less so now, but even now it's not really a directive anymore because it hasn't completely taken over my life where it was like every single place I went it was this directive while they were torturing me. So I have agency, I have some free will at this point now. uh, so Truman Show experience, the idea that you're on a Truman Show and you're being broadcast to intelligence and law enforcement and general feed of like a black web or something, or and you don't know what your mind thought broadcasting. That's another experience. And now that we know that you can have your mind read, that's all possible. That's all a very possible thing because you can mind reading is real, and they can just hook it up to a satellite and remote do it. And so now you have the world being hostile. That's another experience schizophrenics talk about. I've experienced that, like on occasion, like they decide to be hostile towards me for whatever reason, like based on where the moon and the stars are, or astrological things, or just based on like you thought something or you did something. they decided to be hostile to you that day. Uh, Doppelgangers in street theater. So like people performing skits in the street, or doppelgangers crossing your paths, or on TV or in the media, or like politicians being doppelgangers of family members and you, things like that. So I also experienced that. Uh, Not knowing what's real and fake. This that's an affliction upon me because I cannot determine what is real and what's fake. Then you have it's just the schizophrenic reality itself. You have the situation where the Pentagon spokesperson came out and said that the there's such a thing as false flags with fake mourners, fake victims, fake explosions in the world to justify wars. And so I've actually theorized now that war itself could be a big brother thing and stuff like that. So not knowing what's real and fake, the shootings being mind control, uh, mind control directives at me with regard to the people and the names of places and stuff in the shootings. So that's an example of those things. And for instance, you not knowing what's real and fake, the whole Odyssey Dawn, I think that was a beginning of my experience of overt schizophrenia, where it was an overt manipulation of my life back in 2011 during the Arab Spring. And Odyssey Dawn was was a cultural production designed multifacetation. One of the facetations was to mind control me and control me. It was an operation to control my perception of reality and my interaction on a social level in society and things of that nature. And so it was like Odyssey Dawn. They called it. I was supposed to be Odysseus, and I was going on an odyssey. And so like that's what they were sending me on. And so yeah. But those are all other aspects of schizophrenia that I experience, in addition to these new converging technologies, which could explain the voice hearing and things, voice hearing and mind reading that is described by schizophrenics and has been determined not possible in previous lives. It is now possible, and so you can think about all the various ways these other things are possible. And all right, so I was going to talk about a couple things I had written, I had expressed online. Uh, I expressed that there's a war on college, and this is probably done because, and I that's part of, I guess my program is somewhat intertwined into this war on college, and it is done to develop. The war on the college is done because college developed intelligent, critical thinking people who recognize the kind of BS of our society and can articulate it. And obviously, there's other aspects of college. You can solve problems and make society better, and you know cure diseases, just in general benefit society or whatever. And so, and I'm just saying, like, it does create critical thinking people who question the BS part aspect of our society. It was better, and it was like, so people think that the reason why they wage a war on college is because they think it was better when people were mindless cogs, happy with a pittance and satisfied in our ignorance. And so the dissatisfaction, they're trying to weaponize dissatisfaction with the cost of college. It's not college itself, which is a scam, but it's like the cost of college to the individual is a little bit of a. It's not necessarily a scam in itself, but like, uh, you know, there should probably be more public funding of universities, and so people start to recognize this. They don't want critical thinkers in our society. They want people not to critically think, and they don't want people to articulate uh, critical thoughts regard and that can put together articulate thoughts regarding the critical analysis of our society. So everyone kind of knows that, but that's what I was thinking. Then I was thinking, like, to get into what I started at the beginning of this, which is like the experience of working as a schizophrenic. It is kind of a degrading experience because you're being violated in community, in society, and by institutions, and you're being abused by these community, society, institutions. And now sometimes you get the euphoric, like, oh, everyone's happy, sending you positive vibes today, and you get that aspect too, but you also get the abuse and the manipulation and the kind of warfare on you. And so then you're forced to, with the abuse and the with the abuse that you receive, you're expected to now serve these people, and you're expected to serve and function in society for them, and it's kind of a degrading thing. But I was thinking of, I have to set that aside and take other positive thoughts for why it's good to go to work, because uh, there's still a human element, a positive human element, social element while you're schizophrenic, and not everything is negative. And so it'll probably be good to get back to work, and you can, do benefit other people. You can benefit yourself, benefit your family. You can have money to participate in society. You can gain social standing as a working class person. It reminded me of John Lennon's "Working Class Hero is Something to Be." When I was thinking that, I was thinking that the other day, and I was like, the song "Working Class Hero" is like, for 20 years they torture you in school and stuff, and then they expect you to pick a career, and that's very relevant to the schizophrenic experience, the torture for 20 years, and then expecting you to go pick a career and stuff. And so I was like, he must have experienced. I wonder if John Lennon was an experiencer of this system. Actually, I don't know, but I just, because that line there was very poignant. And so I'm reminded that there's, in general, in sometimes there's two conflicting ideas, and to keep with the beneficial thought process for working, sometimes there's two conflicting ideas, and there can be truths and elements of both. So even though it's kind of degrading to work as a schizophrenic, there's going to be positive, and it's going to be empowering to some degree, and I have to think of those reasons. And so, yeah, so those were my thought processes today in my life as a schizophrenic. I just wanted to explain my experiences of schizophrenia, and so, yeah, all right, thank you so much. Goodbye.